Hey, check this out. So I stopped buying random lotto tickets and started doing this instead. You've probably heard that winning the lottery is all about luck, right? You might think it's impossible to ever
Join
win big,
UF Hall of
or
Famer
believe
and
that you'll be in debt
14-year
forever,
NFL vet
and so will your
Shane
kids.
Matthews
But what
every
if I told
weekday
you that's
as he
not true
brings
at
you
all?
you need to
What
know
if I told you
about
there's
your
a simple
Florida
method
Gators,
you can use that
including
could
news,
actually help you play better,
analysis, and
it has
opinions
nothing to
with
do with
some
luck?
of the biggest names in
Sounds
sports.
too good to be true, right?
Find us on
That's what I
Spotify,
thought too,
Apple Podcasts,
until I heard about this
Google
U.S.
Podcasts,
mathematician who said
or
he cracked the
wherever
code.
you listen to
He
your
won
favorite
5 times in 3
podcasts,
months
or
and never
watch
played
us
the lotto
live
before
at 8
discovering
a.m.
this.
on Facebook,
He studied
YouTube,
27
and Twitter.
repeat winners and couldn't believe what he found. He said these winners weren't just lucky, but they did have one thing in common.
Good morning.
He
It's
said
a
the
live
lottery
edition of
isn't
PodUp
totally
with
random
Matthews in the
because it's
morning
designed
from
by
the Crime
humans,
Prevention Security
which means there
Systems
are
Studios,
patterns that
large
can
enough
work
to
in your
serve
favor.
you,
And he found the
small enough to
common
carry.
pattern
It
of
is a
all
Tuesday
27
edition of the
repeat
program.
winners.
We're going to have
He took
Buddy
this,
Martin from
applied
the Buddy
advanced
Martin Show
probability theory.
and Gator Bait Media, and we'll also have Buck Belue, former Georgia quarterback, does radio up in the Atlanta area. We'll have him on second portion of today's program. You missed it last night. Yankees are in trouble. They're down 3-0. Steelers defeat the Giants. And you got college football tonight, a lot of NBA and what have you. Let's go to the Titan Number hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and we're joined by Buddy Martin. You can listen to Buddy Monday through Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your different platforms out there. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Shane. I'm doing good here on Florida Georgia week. Looking around the SEC, trying to figure out which way things are going. Tide coming in and coming out. There's a lot of activity going on in the middle of the conference. We talk about the top of the conference. There's a lot of snake biters in there could get you. So it's going to be interesting. We talked about this month, all season, all year, November coming up when things are going to be decided. And the SEC, who knows what might happen because the residual impact of playing an SEC will begin to show up. But when it does, who knows what might surface, what teams will go down because of lack of depth. And by the way, you better have a backup quarterback because it seems like that's the thing you need today to go forward. So we're looking forward to this SEC, this 12-team playoff, and the rest of this football season.
I'm getting a lot of comments here about Kyle Trask not going to have a chance to be a starter. Mark says Trask is a good backup. He'll be on the move after this year. I don't know what happened there. Anybody fill me in what's going on, people?
I don't know. I haven't followed him. I don't know.
Baker's their starter, so I'm not sure what the talk is here.
He threw a
Anyway,
bunch of picks last week. Baker did, but he's a good quarterback.
yeah, he's played good though, man. He's played good. He's a good fit with what they're doing. All right, buddy, it's Georgia week.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Gators have struggled against the Dogs ever since Kirby's taken over. Your thoughts on this game in Jacksonville Saturday?
I see that ESPN gives Florida a 20% chance of an upset, which sounds pretty high to me. I think they have a pretty good chance, maybe a 30 or 40% chance of covering 18.5 points. Just don't know what we'll get out of the Bulldogs. They physically are dominant. But as I said last night on my program, we're talking about what has really made this rivalry so great, and you were part of it, is the fact that revenge and bitterness and hate all surfaces at some time. And the Gators, though the Bulldogs won, I'm not sure they're capable of beating them, but I expect Florida to play well. I see no reason for the fall off production. I know Lagway will have a different look, a lot of big guys on him. I believe in Lagway's ability to throw the deep ball. Georgia's secondary can be vulnerable. We don't seem to be getting much action on the revenge angle. Nobody's mad at Trevor Etienne for going over and play for the other side, but it is still Florida, Georgia. It's going to be contested. I think Florida's a better football team. I'm not sure how much better. I'm not prepared to make the leap ready for this, but I really like what I'm seeing. I love my guys, my two fabulous fries, as I call them. Of course, as you know, the fullback and the tailback and the quarterback being freshmen. I love it. They're both talented guys I've been following. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do against a quality team like Georgia.
Yeah, best team we've played so far, in my opinion. This is a text from the Titan Mark Texan from Paul in Pensacola. Says, I know you don't think he's quite good enough to be a starter, but I would love to see Kyle Trask get a shot. Do you think he will? I don't. I think he'll be a backup his whole career. There's nothing wrong with that.
And you did pretty well at it, 14 years.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know where all this Kyle Trask. I don't know why there's many
I don't
comments
either.
about it.
I don't either.
So, this is the Gator guy. Says Doug Peterson's 18-20 and 1-9 in his last 10 games. Any injury updates on Marshall Turner and is Trey hurt? Got to run some to beat Georgia and ball, and Jacoby Jackson have to be a big part of that. Both have some special talents. Yeah, we're gonna, like I said on your show last night, buddy. I think for us to have a chance of winning, we have to play our best game of the year. And Georgia has to play poor and turn the football over. Brian asked, "Will Jason Marshall be back?" I doubt it. I don't think you'll hear about that. Maybe you will tomorrow. I guess Billy talks. I'll be surprised if Jason Marshall Jr. plays.
What's his injury? Do you know?
Shoulder.
Shoulder.
I don't know if it's separated or dislocated. They never said, but the way it happened, he dove at the back or whoever it was. Had a really good play on it, by the way, and then just landed awkwardly. Oh. Justin says, QB, I think A&M is just as good as Georgia. A&M is dominant on the line of scrimmage like Georgia. Maybe they are, but you can't go back to the A&M game. That has no bearing on what's going to happen in Jacksonville. Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's happened is that obviously the quarterback situation has really changed. They made that change in the second half, and it was a different offense. And I think that was a big boost for them. And I think we're seeing a different offense in Arkansas. That looks like
We are
as much the same. But boy, I tell you, Bobby Petrino's done a terrific job with him.
Well, Taylor Green's very talented. He turns the ball over a lot, but he he came from Boise State, and it doesn't matter who Bobby Petrino has at quarterback; they're going to put up points.
And he like 6'5".
He might be 6'6", I think.
He
But
put a move on.
He throws to the other team a lot, though. That's what drives Bobby Petrino crazy. But he's a talented kid. He's one of those. It's like don't do it. Oh, great throw.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
So, all right. So, buddy, what are your thoughts? What do the Gators need to do to win the game?
Well, obviously they have to be able to continue to move the football and don't get in a shell. You got to give Lagway a chance to throw deep. You know now that certainly Georgia knows that. They're going to try to protect again. That's good because when you do that, you drop your DBs back and you make the short passes open up. He's really good at finding open men, especially deep. I wonder how that affects Georgia's defensive psychology. I think it does. This is why you kept saying all year long, throw deep, throw deep, throw deep, throw deep. And they did. His accuracy has been phenomenal. They got to have that. Obviously, they got to be able to run the football. Can they run the football? They certainly got enough running backs back there. I think they could. Defensively, I'm looking for a big game out of Pyburn. Their linebackers have got a season underneath them right now. I think the secondary is getting better. Can they get any pass rush on this offensive line? I'm not sure they can get off the edge to him and make any plays. That's going to be my big question. And which Georgia team shows up? They're going to try to ground and pound. They're going to try to move the ball. So their quarterback, Carson Beck, is subject to having ups and downs as well. He's very good. When he's good, he's really good. I think this will be a game where Florida will compete. There's something about this team right now that people like. Billy likes it. You can tell in his press conference. He likes his chances to compete, not necessarily to win. So it's time now for Florida to show up for this game. They've got to look at least competitive.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the whole like we got to be competitive. Buddy, I hear what you're saying, but it's time to beat some teams worth a damn.
Well, can
Right?
they beat them? Can you tell me?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, the only way we beat them is a lot of things have to go our way. We're not as talented as they are. This game is going to be one
against Georgia.
This game is going to be won in the trenches. That's where Georgia hangs their hat. We're going to beat you up with O-line play, and we're going to get after you with our D-line. If we can't control that, it could be a long day. I think our skill guys are very good, but it's going to come down to the interior people to determine the outcome of this game. But I understand where people are coming from about, we need to be competitive. We need to see how we look the next 4 games. Well, look, I mean, I think people are tired of losing football games. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, where do we draw the line that, being 500 is like what we want to be? I don't know. I've
I
kind of
don't think that's ever been the case. I think it's the fact that where they've come from. They looked so bad and made so many bad mistakes earlier in the year that the improvement of what we've seen these last couple of weeks, the emergence of DJ Lagway, and what's happened there. They got guys making plays in the secondary for a change. I'm not saying they're going to beat Georgia. I'm just saying at least show up and show out and do something. And I like the fact what I saw in Kentucky. Granted, it was not a lopsided game as the score came out, but certainly at the time needed, they got the job done and make a play. I want to see them make plays. This team is not without talent. It's called making a play. Your former coach, Steve Spurrier, won a lot of games on just making a play. So I don't know. You can blame it on the play calling. You can blame it on the players. You can blame it on what you want to. You're right. It's time to stop making excuses. I don't expect them to be transformational and suddenly become, what the Bulldogs used to be. I expect the Gators to show up, play good, and play better. And really, it's worked that way. Listen, give credit where it's due. Napier deserves credit for holding his team together, losing his starting quarterback and the starting tailback, coming out and winning a game like that. This team seems to have something about it that they do stick together. In his press conference yesterday, Billy made a comment about that, about how they do stick together, and he's counting on that. That has been an asset. You can't afford for the team to come apart and for all the players to leave and have to start over. If you do, we might as well give it up.
Yeah, Kanye Ron on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plum says he's still curious how Georgia struggled with Kentucky. Well, it was earlier in the year and going on the road. I think that was a night game. Um, Look, you can't compare games to games. We don't know. I mean, heck, some of the Georgia kids could have been out. I don't even know if they had a full roster. I don't know. I would get that game out of your head, people. It does not matter what happened in that game, just like it does not matter what the Gators did in their last game. All that matters is when you walk between the lines on Saturday. What matters is what Florida team shows up and then what Georgia team shows up. So Baron 71 says the UAA has allowed the Gator standard to decline.
I guess you could say that. I don't know. The choices they made haven't been great. We've gotten past this, Shane. You told me 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, stop worrying about what's going to happen. Think about the game coming up and get involved in the game happening. We've got Florida, Georgia. All right. You got a puncher's chance, 20%, according to ESPN. That's all I want right now. I don't expect this team to be transformed into a juggernaut overnight. I do expect them to get better. I think they have a chance. That's all I'm asking for right now. And certainly Georgia is beatable, as we've seen. So, I got to believe that there's some hope there.
Yeah. Ryan says, and I mentioned this on your show last night, buddy. He says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, we will get Georgia's best shot. Kirby takes this game as serious as any. It's exactly the Coach Spurrier scenario. Coach had no success against Georgia as a player, dominated them as a coach. Kirby had no success winning games against the Gators when he played, but he's been dominating them as the coach. Georgia will be ready to play. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely, I'll be ready to play. They're not going to sneak up on them. But I do think also in this history, I don't understand why people disconnect history. Franz Beard and I had a long talk last night on my show about what has happened to these two programs. If you're old, like we are, I mean, you've been around, you've seen things. Franz had his daddy tell him about the time Georgia beat Florida 75-0 back in the day. And we saw, Franz and I did, the 51-0 game where Florida got beat when Ray Graves was there and Vince Dooley was letting backup centers kick field goals to get the extra points and what have you. That was humiliation. The next year, things began to change. Sometimes you need the shock of a loss to get you going right. I still think that loss Coach Spurrier had as a senior. They're 7-0 in 1966 with a chance to win. That game, I sat down with the offensive coordinator the night before, back when coaches could talk to sports writers. Ed Kinsler was a friend of mine. He drew up the entire game plan for me and told me what they're going to try to do. Of course, as it turned out, Georgia had a different game plan. They tackled Larry Smith out of the backfield. They took away Spurrier's tight end release over the middle, and they outplayed them, and Spurrier threw interceptions, and they got beat, and that stuck in Steve's craw. He made them pay for that when he became the coach. They paid, and they paid, and they paid. So sometimes losing a game is not always bad.
Electronics World integration and design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment. Affordable local installation, service, and support. ElectronicsWorld.net. We got Buddy Martin on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We'll have Buck Belue, second portion of today's program.
Shane, who do you think's in line to get fired next?
What coach do I think is getting fired?
What college coaches are going to get fired next?
Oh, goodness. Well, I can only think of a couple of head coaches that have been fired. I think East Carolina's head coach, Southern Miss, and a lot of people chiming in about it, possibility of Kerwin getting one of those jobs. We'll keep our fingers crossed because he would be great at either one of those. Next coach to get fired.
Want the odds?
Yeah.
Okay. According to this, I think it was ESPN, the odds of the next coach to be fired, Mike Norvell.
Ooh, I don't think Florida State can afford that. But, I mean, his record's terrible without Jordan Travis.
And there's a lot of people out there. All of a sudden, Stephen A. Smith's coming out now and saying,
Trent Dilfer, somebody said on here at UAB. I think he does get fired this year.
He did get fired. But I'm saying, well, I mean, the odds are, I'm telling you what the odds were. You know, and Billy's not top one or two. As you thought. If I gave you that question a month ago, you would have said Billy. So Norvell, and then you got Ryan Walters of Purdue. I didn't even know he existed. He's next in line, odds are. Then Napier. Napier's 500, and Norvell is 350. Here's a surprise, Sam Pittman. I think Sam Pittman saved his job, don't you? They look like a different.
I think they still. I mean, I think a lot. I mean, they got to play Ole Miss Saturday if they're at home. I think that game will mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still a possibility. It would not surprise me if Arkansas fires him and makes Bobby Petrino the head coach.
The head coach, yeah. And then Dave Aranda. We remember a couple of years ago, people were just talking about a great coach Dave Aranda was. Baylor, he's in the firing line, and the guy who has dodged the bullet, and I don't know how, obviously at Auburn, would you have thought he would have survived this far after the start he had? Because he's been, I would say, in my opinion, the biggest flop this year as a head coach has been Hugh Freeze.
Well, they beat Kentucky. They got their first SEC win.
Finally, all of a sudden beating Kentucky is a thing. When Florida beat, it wasn't a big thing. Well, it just beat Kentucky. Well, I get it, but my gosh, he's been horrible. He finally found out they can run the ball at Auburn. They ran it quite well.
Yeah, 280-something yards, one guy on Kentucky.
Yeah.
C. Irby says here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, who makes the decision to rebuild the UAA? Can the new president, when hired, make those moves? Buddy, I don't know how all that works.
I don't either. I think it's a board. I think it's a group, the board of directors and the big. I don't think one person makes that decision. That decision seems to have been made by somebody. It appears that way. I guess it's a combination of everybody there, UAA. And the board of directors, I guess. It's going to happen.
Buck says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law, Brent Venables isn't going to last at OU. I agree with that.
He fired his offensive coordinator. That'll spare him this year.
Well, the offense wasn't much better. I mean, I think if they don't win another game, I think he gets fired.
Could be.
Yeah. Andy's question for you, buddy, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law. If you were the Colts head coach, would you start Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco?
I didn't like what I heard about Anthony Richardson. Do you hear about this? took himself out of the game in the third quarter, so he was tired.
Right. But he also wasn't complete. He was like 2 of 17.
Yeah,
Look, he can't play in that league. I mean, I've said it for 5 years
have,
now.
you have. Um,
I wish it was different, but I mean, you could see it from high school on.
what did you see? You told me he was injury prone.
He was injury prone, never had a winning record, and couldn't complete passes. Okay. When you can't complete passes as a quarterback, that's a problem.
Why didn't he complete the pass? It threw it
He's
too
not
hard.
accurate, can't anticipate, doesn't know where to go with the football.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
decision making, processing the information, accuracy, anticipation are more important than dunking basketballs, doing backflips,
right.
running fast, and throwing it 85 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at all the great quarterbacks playing in the National Football League and that have played before. Could any of them do any of that?
No,
I mean, I could dunk a basketball back in the day, but I couldn't do it, a windmill dunk and all that. I
really.
could, I mean,
Know that about you, Shane.
but what I'm saying is Brady, I guarantee you Jaden Daniels can probably dunk a basketball, but he's going to throw it 65 yards on a Hail Mary is the farthest he can probably throw. But anyway, we don't need to waste our time on it. It's a shame, but I see it all the time, not in just quarterbacks, but you can see it at other positions as well.
Well, let me ask this. Take the same thing with Lagway, what you said Anthony can't do, and tell me what Lagway does do.
He does
He
everything good.
sees the field. He throws a catchable ball. He's smart. He doesn't make stupid mistakes. He's athletic. I think he's everything you want in a quarterback, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, yeah, he understands the game, knows how to throw the football. He's going to make some dumb mistakes. I mean, that's what everybody does.
I
But
like the fact that he threw a pick and came right back and threw a touchdown. I
yeah,
like the fact he went right back to it. And look, we're not just jumping on the bandwagon. We've been saying this for a while. This kid is something special. We're seeing it play out right in front of our eyes. And we've also got Jaden Ball, who, by the way, has anybody ever scored 5 touchdowns before and then less made of it? Nobody even mentioned the kid scored 5 touchdowns. I know, I get it, but he is that kind of player. I read this thing about him earlier, how Florida got him and kind of backed into it and got him. And Billy's brother played against him. And Billy told him, you better get on this guy. He's something special. And he is 6'1.5". He is 235. He does have good hips. He can move. He can run. My gosh, he could be a force if he didn't get hurt.
yeah. All right. Jack says on Facebook, I mean on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. Shane and Buddy, given the required $20 million required money for each school that must pay out annually, do you think UF will set aside at least slow down the changes to the swamp? I have not heard anything about that, but if it was me, I would not worry about the venue we play football in because I know I don't sit in the seats. I'm in a bad booth that's 100 years old, but I just don't think that's important anymore. I really don't. I don't think the luxury seating and all that stuff matters. I think the fans are going to show up in that venue because they love the mystique of the swamp, no matter what's going on. And why redo it and waste money when you have to put it into your athletes now? That's just my 2 cents.
First of all, Shane, it's not 100 years old where you are.
It's
The press
close.
The press box where we are down there is about 20 something years old. They took it from a prime location in the middle of the field at the 50, put it in the end zone where you can't see. And when you walk into the place, you can't hardly get to your seat. It's the worst press box in the SEC, one of the worst in the country, named after my dear friend Norm Carlson, the press day. What they did to that was terrible. Your facilities are not good, but most broadcast booths I've been into are not the greatest in the world.
That we have the worst in the league.
Could be, but it's not that old, Shane.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you, buddy. The only thing that's probably Missouri's is bad because it's smaller than ours, but it's nicer because it's newer. But
Yeah.
I could care less where we broadcast from, quite honestly. But it's not good.
Florida, Georgia, you got a halfway decent booth.
It's a very good booth.
Yeah.
Very good booth.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
an
with
NFL booth.
I'm with you on the stadium. It's kind of the sexy thing, though. to have a new facility and have all the bells and whistles. And let's be
No,
honest.
that's what you need for the players. You don't need that for the fans.
Wait, no, wait. They need it for the luxury boxes. That's what they need it for.
Well, they got boxes up there that are way
Well,
too
that's
high in the
not
first.
nearly enough, Shane. They want a lot more, bigger, and nicer, more expensive. That's what they're doing. It's for.
I know, but I don't think the fans want that, and I don't think the fans will pay for them
Well,
because
I think there are rich people who would, but this is the
mm,
way most. Let's be honest. It's the rich man's game now, Shane.
I
You
understand that, but I know a lot of rich people that don't really care to go use their boxes anymore.
Well, I'm not because they're not winning. But I'm not supporting this idea. I'm telling you the facts. This is what's happening. They all want to be Jerry Jones now. They have the show place. You know,
Well, I guess I don't think it's
okay,
necessary.
I don't care about it because it won't happen in my lifetime. It won't matter. And it will probably happen in yours, but that's the direction, that's the trend. You know, Florida's been behind on almost everything, including the new facility, which you said as soon as they get that, it'll change recruiting. Well, it didn't. It
Well,
helped.
because recruiting changed whenever you started paying players.
That's true. That is true.
That's the problem. We
I'm
missed
not
the
saying you
boat.
were wrong. I'm just saying this is how volatile it is in terms of change. So the bottom line is you're right. It's not that much of a priority. Let's get the program winning again, okay? They got enough to win with.
Mark says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Have you guys ever witnessed a team do what FSU has done in 2 seasons? So good one season, such a meltdown the next.
I
They
haven't
lost some
personally
good players to the
experienced.
NFL, and they lost a really good quarterback, really good college quarterback. And you know, his record at FSU without Jordan Travis is absolutely terrible, terrible. So,
No. Shane, what do you think of the AP top 25?
what about it?
Well, it's the last week we're going to have it. They're starting to have they're going to be ranked next week. It's not much. They've had a few changes. By the way, Florida is not obviously even beginning to be ranked, but there are 4 teams from the SEC in the top 10 and only one in the top 5. It came out yesterday. It's Oregon, Georgia's second, Penn State, Ohio State, Miami's fifth, then Texas, Tennessee, etc. So, I mean, I think it's good to have it for a frame of reference. It doesn't matter. It's all about the 10, 12 teams that get ranked, which, by the way, I think next Tuesday we get our first look at them, don't we?
They did it last week.
The top 12? No, they didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah, they did. I watched the show, buddy.
they
It'll
did.
be on tonight. It comes on Tuesday nights.
Okay. Well, I must have missed that because I didn't see it.
Yeah. John says, Shane, had you played when you could get paid, would you stay in the NFL as long as you did? Um, I'm not sure what you're asking. I was not drafted, John. So um, when I got an opportunity to play in the NFL, I took it and ran and did everything I could to stay there. And I tell people this all the time when I speak. When you hear athletes say, I'm retiring because it's time for me, it basically means they don't want your ass anymore. Okay. They're going to play as long as they possibly can. When they so-called retire, that means nobody else wants them on their roster for the most part. Tim says,
Here's the listing of the rankings, okay?
mhm.
This came out, the release schedule and dates for the college football playoff rankings. The first one is Tuesday the 5th. Okay, the second is Tuesday the 12th.
I watched the show last
Okay,
week.
well,
We
here's
had
the schedule right here. So I guess you must have had a special channel.
no, it
So
was ESPN. Reese Davis did it with all the
he may have
ESPN
done it,
guys.
but he may have done it, but the college football committee didn't do it.
They had the leader of the committee on the show talking.
Okay, okay. I have to see that because I haven't
Yeah.
seen
And it will probably be on again tonight. I would think it's every Tuesday night.
it.
If
Doesn't start ranking them till next week.
if anybody else on here saw that, tell me, make sure I'm not crazy, but I saw Reese Davis hosting the program.
I saw him hosting a program, but I don't think it was the first ranking. We'll
Well,
see. Could be wrong. I'm not. Somebody help me out here. Where's Andy? We
All right,
need,
Justin says the rankings haven't come out yet,
yeah.
but they did do a show.
No,
Okay.
I understand that. I'm saying the official rankings don't come out till next Tuesday.
Okay. I mean, I
Okay.
don't really care. I just know I watched the show.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a difference in a show about it. I can do a show about it. You can too. But the
Well,
rankings
they had
start
every
next
they had
week.
every team just like they do on all
I
those
know.
shows, and then they had the
What's that?
commissioner or whatever his name. But it doesn't
College
matter.
football committee didn't have it. That's somebody else's fault.
Um, Everybody says, question here, why do we keep hearing we are behind in facilities? I thought we just built one. We were behind in facility. Now, look, our facility is great. It's not what the other teams have, but it's what we needed. We were talking about the actual football stadium,
They,
which
they
I
play.
don't care about it. I don't care about the stadium. They don't need to redo anything in it, in my opinion.
But Shane, you're not the consumer here. It's not for you.
I bet if you ask 95% of the people, they would say, give the money to the players. The stadium is fine. I really believe that. They may say increase the bathroom stalls or something, but I just have a feeling that the fans don't really care because they want the stadium to stay the same, in my opinion. All
I have
right.
a question for you, Shane, real fast, okay? You've been
Yeah.
to New York City a lot. You've been around New York City. You know a little about New York City, right?
I've been a few times. I don't like it, but go ahead.
Okay, well, none either. There, I lived there, as you know, 2 or 3 times. I have a little knowledge of the place and working. Last night, after in the World Series, says nothing to do anything, but they had the usual beautiful anthem, by the way, last night, done last night. Then they had a rap song. They brought him out. He did a guy named Fat Joe did a special New York rap song, which I mean, I get rap is rap. I thought was abominable. Have you ever heard of Fat Joe?
Mm-mm.
They had, nor have I. I just thought I was the only
I
person
don't
there.
listen to rap, so I don't really even know.
Oh, but this is the premier spot on the World Series before they throw the first pitch. This guy comes out and does a rap song on the Yankees. Fat Joe, give me a break. I'm as open minded about music as anybody. That was just over the top, New York. You can do better than that. So we'll get that off my mind there. So
Yeah, Ryan on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing says, Shane, what are your thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier? I think he's might be the best quarterback in the league, personally. I think
struggle
he's
last half, second half.
yeah, but I don't care. Boy, his anticipation, his accuracy, knowing where to go with the footballs is really good. Really, really good. All right, buddy, who you got on your show tonight?
It's tonight when the fellows do it. Lauren Meadows will be there, and our usual Tuesday night crew, including uh, Brown from L.A. and from our usual David Whitley from the Sun, Rob Brown, and our usual cast of characters for Tuesday nights. I'll be watching on the sideline. Tomorrow night, we'll go back at it again. And Shane, as always, love having you on Monday nights on the Buddy Martin Show. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. And by the way, while you're at it, subscribe to Gator Bait. Find out what we're writing about.
All right. Joey says he says the seating in the swamp sucks. For that reason alone, I quit going to games. Well,
Don't need your money.
would you rather have a nice, comfortable seat in a lackluster football team, or would you rather have a better team and uncomfortable seats and watch it at home?
They won't both.
I understand that, but you better choose one right now.
Shane, you and I are not the average consumer of seats, okay?
Buddy, I used to sit in the seats. They are not comfortable,
I
but
know.
that's what makes the swamp what it is, in my opinion. It's not
not
like
that.
I didn't before I started doing the radio, I sat in section 15, row 50 something. I have 4 seats right there on bench, hard ass bench seats. Is it comfortable? No, I'm 6'3". I can barely fit in it, but that's football. That's what makes the swamp what it is, in my opinion.
So you like Wrigley Field? You wanted to have Wrigley Field for a baseball field, right?
I think Wrigley Field's awesome.
Okay. Well, some people don't want it. There you go. That's not you and me. There you
Yeah.
go.
But I don't go to games. It's not because I just I even I have several friends that love to travel around and go, regardless of the sport, go to all these games. I'd rather watch it on TV.
Yeah, I know you're a TV animal. I love it. I would too, be honest with you.
No, I don't like crowds. I don't like people. I don't like traffic. So
You're,
why go to a
you
game?
know what you are? You're an introvert. Is what you are,
You're
Shane.
damn right I am. I am. Yeah.
Oh, but you're a pretty good quarterback. So there you go.
All right, buddy. Have a good show, and we will
Thank
talk
you.
to you
Thanks
next
for having
week,
me
and
on,
we'll see
Shane.
what happens in Jacksonville.
All right. Thank you, brother. See you.
All right. Buck says he's 6'7", so it does suck. Yeah, Buck, that ain't much fun. Um, I don't know what they can do to even make the seats nice for you at 6'7". We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to talk to Buck Belue, former Georgia quarterback, who does radio up in Atlanta, Georgia. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Nest and Wild, Florida Victorious, Electronics World.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe with 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua. You're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. I want to thank Buddy Martin for joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're just waiting on Buck Belue to join the program here in just a second. Mark asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, have y'all seen the Dwayne Wade statue the Miami Heat did for him? It looks like Lawrence Fishburne, looks nothing like him. I've heard about it. I have not seen it. It's a shame if it doesn't look like him. I'll have to look at that. Wolf Gator on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, did you get any golf over the weekend during the bye week? Yes, I did. He hit Southern Hills down in Brooksville, great Pete Dye track. Yeah, I haven't played there in a long time. We don't usually travel very much because it's just convenient. We go to UF. You will not find better greens in America. That's the honest to God truth than the University of Florida Mark Bostic Golf Course. The greens are rolling unbelievable. And so why go anywhere when you can just do that? And plus, we have a big group that we go battle, go play some real golf and get after it. Let's see what else. There was somebody here. Michael says it's old school charm the way the swamp is. Love it that way. I'm with you. I'm not having to sit and I agree. Like I said, before I started doing the broadcast, I sat in the stands. It was not comfortable, but I dealt with it. What I've never understood is why people stand during games. That's why they build stadiums at an angle, right? Why do you have to stand? I think we got Buck Belue here now on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Buck, you there, my man?
Yeah, man. How's it going, Shane?
I'm doing well, Buck. Appreciate you taking the time to join us. I know you're a busy man. Look forward to being on your program later today. Let's talk about the Dogs. Obviously, kind of the same old team Kirby has. Uh, Kind of got shocked in Tuscaloosa, but they've been playing much better of late, right?
Well, defensively, Kirby likes to talk about being elite is the term he used. And, it's the first time this season we've seen that defense play elite football against Texas. And, I think a lot of it has to do with help. They've been really thin on the defensive line, especially the interior defensive line up until the Texas game. They got Warren Brinson back, a senior defensive tackle. It's given them three guys that can really stick in there and feel good about. Michael Williams coming off the edge is one of their most talented players, and he's been slowed by the high ankle sprain most of the entire season, and he was back being difference maker against Texas. And Jalon Walker, too, is a very versatile linebacker, can play inside and outside, and he was just a terror against the Longhorns. So I think you plug those three guys in playing at a elite level, and it makes everybody look good on defense.
Offensively, when you look at Carson Beck, he's kind of been up and down for the most part. I think he's thrown more interceptions than we've seen in the past. How would you assess his play so far this season?
Well, Shane, they're leading with the pass this season. Prior to this, they've been 50-50. They've been a balanced attack, and they still want to run it, but they're really thin at running back. Thank God ETN transferred up here, and they plugged him in. He stayed healthy, but that running back room's really thin with injuries right now. Beck, you got an experienced quarterback that can spin it. You might not have a go-to receiver to get the ball to, but you've got 6 to 8 solid receivers that they can spread the ball around to. So they're leading with the passing attack. Coach Bobo has put the ball in the hands of Carson Beck. And I think, part of the reason why his interceptions are up, they're just throwing the ball more. Mm-hmm. And so, there's some things with Beck. I talked about it earlier last week during the bye week a lot of his balls seem to be high this year. So get on top of the ball, step into the throw, seems to be backpedaling a little bit. That ball sails on him a little bit. And now with the defense, back playing really awesome football, there's no reason to take any chances trying to fit it into tight windows. He's got a big arm. He's confident in the big arm, but at this point, the rest of the year, no reason to take any chances with a football. So looking to see him pick it up a little bit, clean his game up here this second half of the season.
Well, we got a question here on the Titan Mark text line from Jim. Wanted to ask your opinion on the Florida-Georgia game. Do you like it in Jacksonville, Buck? Obviously, in a couple of years when they're redoing the stadium, they'll probably go back to home and home. But do you prefer it being in Jacksonville?
I do. I grew up in Valdosta, right on that Georgia-Florida line. And, we even had a parade back in the day down the main street in Valdosta for the Gator fans and the Bulldog fans. And so I grew up, loving this game down in Jacksonville. The thing that confused me as a youngster was I didn't understand, why none of the kids got to go to the game. But when I stepped off that bus as a freshman, man, I understood exactly why. Sort of an adults-only event there with the largest cocktail party going on. But you could smell it when you got off the bus, that hard liquor around the stadium. I understood perfectly what was going on at that point in time. But, yeah, I like it in Jacksonville. And I hope while they rebuild the stadium there, we're going to see it home and home, see it down in Gainesville and in Athens. I know Kirby would rather have it in Athens because you get that big recruiting weekend. These 5-star guys be piling in to see Florida and Georgia play in Athens. So I think he'd prefer it be there all the time. But I really love it in Jacksonville. And look, it's got something to do with coming down and playing some great golf and hanging out at the beach for a week.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of friends of mine that went to Georgia. They do it right. They come down there to Amelia Island or somewhere over there, or go down to Sawgrass and have a good time. Um, but let's talk about Kirby. Obviously, and I mentioned this on Buddy Martin's program, and I mentioned it with him this morning. You know, Kirby, kind of like Coach Spurrier, takes over his alma mater and turns them into a powerhouse. But he didn't have a whole lot of success as a player against the Gators. Coach Spurrier did not have a lot of success as a player against the Dogs, but as a coach, we know he went 11-1. Does Kirby really put a lot of attention with his program on this game and just wants to just try to embarrass the Gators?
Look, he really presents his philosophy as everybody's the same. You know, every one of these games on the schedule, they're going to prepare hard and be focused and, you know, be the hunter. And, you know, you hear a lot of that going on. But, look, you know it's not the same, right? I mean, it
Right.
just isn't. This is a big rivalry game. He played in it. He knows exactly that. But, you know, he likes to portray it like, look, every one of these games is big. We're going to prepare every one of them just the same. But we all know that's not the case. I want to pile it on. You know, I don't think he's got any vendetta or anything with the Gators. I just think he loves winning.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done a good job there, no question about that. Andy's question for you on Facebook Live. Are you surprised as a former five-star that QB Brock Vandergriff has not been as successful at Kentucky as originally expected?
You know, I wished him nothing but the best. I was hoping to see him go up there and have a really awesome season just because of his loyalty, you know, hanging in there for so many years. But, you know, a lot of times it just doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. I think he's, you know, as a guy that loves the game, he, you know, his dad was a coach. You know, he was just looking for an opportunity to play. And, you know, I think there are a number of things that go into the reason why he's struggling up there. But it's been hard to watch a lot of these games they've played. I got nothing but respect for him.
A few more minutes with Buck Belue here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Champ. Muschamp. Now, is Will still an analyst? I know he's got the title, but what's his involvement with the team? Because I know he wanted to spend more time with the family. I think one of his kids is at Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. What's Will doing with the program right now?
You know, I visited the program a couple of months ago and was walking through the facility. And, you know, I don't know it real well. I get lost in a hurry walking through their facility over there. But I looked up and there was Will in this little office off the hallway, and went in there and said hello and spoke with him for a little bit. He's heavily involved during the week as far as, you know, he's doing multiple things. He's breaking down the opponent offensively. He's offering up his opinion on that in these coaches' meetings. He's taking a look at recruits that they're looking at and passing judgment on some of these recruits they're going after. And then I think he's, you know, he's like most of us. We're just sort of hanging out watching games on the weekend. I don't think he's involved, you know, on Saturday and Sunday. And it, you know, it's strange. And I've always looked at him, you know, since he got through playing as a, you know, football coach, you know, and
Yeah.
it's a little odd to see him sort of off to the side. But
Yeah,
he's another one. And let me just say this, you know, I think, Shane, that one of the great things that Kirby has going on with the coaching staff, you see a lot of these coaches, they have a bunch of yes men on the coaching staff. And Kirby, I think, benefits from having two teammates and two close friends on the staff, and Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, and then Will Muschamp, who's now an analyst, because those two guys, they're going to tell Kirby, they're going to set the record straight, all right? If they see something they don't like, they're going to tell him. And so I think Kirby really benefits from their insight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Last thing for you, Buck. Obviously, you wrote a book. Are you still doing your book signings, and are you going to be making any appearances in Jacksonville?
No, my youngest is a senior, and his final high school football game's Friday night, so I'm not going to be making it down again this year. So we're going to be cheering him on. The book, I self-published this book. I've got about 900 left from the second printing. You can find that at InsideTheHedges.com. You can find that. We talk a little bit about the Florida-Georgia rivalry and talk a little bit about, growing up in Valdosta and being a part of that great high school program there, and tell a few old stories and that kind of thing. So we're trying to finish out the sales on those things, and want to invite people to order the book there at InsideTheHedges.com.
Very cool. And let everybody know how they can listen to your program up in Atlanta.
Well, we're at 680 The Fan. I've been there 23 years, and right now we're doing a morning show and basically talking a lot of college football. And now that the Brave season is over, basically we're diving in. The Falcons are doing well, so they're a little bit of a topic these days. But we're all over the college football scene, man. Looking forward to having you on. And talking about this Gator offense, this DJ Lagway is very impressive. And tell you, handing that ball to Ball, that running back looks really good. Georgia's got two safeties that are going to be out of the first half because of targeting in that Texas game. So, and I'm sure the offensive staff is looking to take advantage of that. But looking forward to talking with you about it here coming up in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Buck. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. That's Buck Belue, former Gator great. Oh, Gator great. He was not a Gator great. He killed the Gators. Buck Belue from Georgia. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians. Great food and Southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida. FloridaCracker.com. Tomorrow we'll have JC. We're supposed to have a couple other Georgia people tomorrow, waiting to get that confirmed. And JB says, well, that and a national title. He used to make a good living. 41-year drought helped him be a legend. Yeah, I mean, look, he was a good quarterback for what they did back in the day, and obviously made one of the greatest plays in the history of college football, especially in the Florida-Georgia game, the pass to Lindsey Scott. So Buck's a good dude, and we appreciate him taking the time to join the program. Is tonight game 4 the game 5? Game 4. Game 4 tonight? Let me look real quick. Yep, we got game 4 tonight. So we'll see if the Yankees get swept or not. And you got some college football. We'll recap it all tomorrow with JC. Have a great day, folks. Take care.